Hey guys, what's up? Clover here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks that will help you when you are starting out in Sunlit Valley, the Sunlit Valley mod pack to be more specific. I have currently or recently joined a server or an SMP where we are actually playing Sunlit Valley, so make sure you check out that. But a lot of you guys in my comments have been asking what mod pack it is and if I had any tips or tricks for you guys to make it a little bit easier, how to download and things like that. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you an overview of it with what I can. I am still learning myself. Okay, so the first thing once you get into your world that you will notice is this handy dandy little quest book. This is probably one of the most important things that you'll need in the game, as it is a guide to how to play, and it also gives you a lot of important stuff. So once you are done reading the welcome and clicking the check mark, it will go ahead and give you any rewards that are in this reward section. I highly recommend you just go through and click it so you can get all of these goodies. Some of them are fairly useful. After that, I suggest you go to Getting Started, which will pop you up with this amazing little catalog, and it kind of is a tutorial on how to play the game. This game is very different from normal Minecraft. If you guys play Stardew Valley, it's a lot like that. So it's kind of Stardew Valley mechanics in Minecraft, if that makes sense. So it'll have you make crafting tables, tools, etc. But the first thing that you'll probably notice that isn't like regular Minecraft is the shipping bin and also the money if you look in the corner. So in this game, making money is very, very important. It is how you get around, how you craft certain things. Some things can only be obtained from buying, so money is probably very important in this game. So your shipping bin, if you play Stardew Valley, you will know that you can just place items in here and it will ship overnight, which is super nice. So once you sleep in your bed and you wake up the next day, it will pop up in the corner with the amount of money you made. And these can be crafted pretty easily. All you need is a chest and a trapdoor. So that is fairly simple, I will say. Most of this stuff you'll probably figure out on your own, like watering crops, for example. This is one I actually want to go into detail about. So, watering crops in this game and the crop system doesn't work like regular Minecraft. Essentially, it doesn't matter if you place your crops next to a water source or not. They need to be watered either individually or by a sprinkler. Either one will honestly work. Starting out, it's probably going to be harder to get sprinklers as they are pretty expensive, even where I am in the game. I can't spell. But even where I am in the game, they're still pretty pricey. As you can see, you need a whole block of iron and copper. And then as you progress, they get more and more advanced. So that's definitely something for mid to late game. I feel like sprinklers, especially the bigger sprinklers, the sprinklers that cover more land, are definitely harder to get. So when you're starting out, you will most likely be watering everything with the watering can. So that is a heads up. Another thing is, so there are different types of coins: copper, zinc, iron, brass, gold, and iridium, each with their own values. But once you get a banking terminal, which is the next thing that it wants you to do, you can go ahead and place your money in there. So once you are actually able to obtain the banking terminal, which I believe you either craft or they will give you, you're actually able to put your money into it, and it kind of organizes it for you. So you can, if you have 64 copper coins, you place them in here and it puts it in here. Likewise, if you have iridium, it kind of all puts it into here and makes it a lot easier for keeping your money. And as you can see in the corner, my balance is still the same, so that is very useful in starting out. We also have the next thing, which is your village. you will get your own villagers that will kind of help you throughout the world. They are fairly important, like very important. The first one that you will get is the carpenter, and it will give you the choice to either use the blueprint or make your own house. I personally chose to use the blueprint just because it would be a little bit faster. And this is what the blueprint looks like for the first house. And then you place the villager down, and then you can talk to him, or you can then purchase supplies. There's lots of stuff in here, so it's super handy, especially if you love building. There's also oftentimes different types of saplings you can buy, and you can also invite villagers. So this is very important because he is your gateway to getting the other villagers and to being able to essentially progress through the game. So after him, it will kind of take you through your own little thing where it will show you how to unlock each villager and all that stuff. The next thing that I want to talk about is the phone. So I believe you will actually get one for free, but if not, you do have to purchase a phone from this lovely banker. She is kind of mean, honestly. But from here, you can purchase a phone for $2,000. Now, the phone in this game is very, very useful. As you can see, it gives you lots of options that you can click on. It actually lets you access the shop from any location. As long as you have the phone placed, you can access any of the shops. It even has some shops that aren't placeable, like the guild or the storage smith or the trader, just stuff like that, which is very useful. You will find as you progress through the game. The next thing that is a little bit new and confusing is the armor upgrade system. Now, this actually took me a minute to learn how to do, but you actually need smithing templates in order to upgrade your tools, your armor, anything of that sort. So essentially, when you log or load into the game, you will obviously make your starter tools. So let's say I want to make an axe. I'll have a wooden axe, but I will not be able to craft a cobblestone axe, unfortunately. So you will be stuck with this wooden axe for quite some time, but it is fairly easy to upgrade once you unlock the blacksmith, which you can get from the carpenter villager. As mentioned earlier, you are able to unlock the smithing station, which I have placed right here, where you're able to upgrade anything. So for the first one, you're gonna need cobblestone and some brass coins. Oh my gosh, my animals are escaping. And then you just go ahead and place that, the cobblestone and the brass coin, and boom, you have your first upgraded tool. Now for armor, it actually does work a little different. You will actually start off with leather armor. So you will actually start off with leather armor. I'm gonna show you guys an example with these boots. And to get the first upgrade for the boots, you're actually going to need to make a chain. So you can make some chainmail. So let's go ahead and do that. Make ourselves a little chain. And then same thing as the first, we place the leather boots, the chain, and then the brass coin, and we're able to upgrade. Very fun and very easy. Now, if you want to upgrade these any further, you will actually need to either buy or obtain smithing templates. You can actually buy them right here from the blacksmith. And it upgrades in order, so iron, gold, diamond, and iridium. So I'll just give you guys an example with the iron template. So you're gonna need one piece of iron, an iron template, and the thing you want to upgrade. Boom! And you got your upgraded piece of armor. Now for this mod pack, armor should all function the same. So when you're upgrading to diamond, it works the same way as iron, and so forward, which is very helpful, but it's definitely very different than usual Minecraft. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. And then the next thing I want to talk about is actually backpacks. This is something very important. You will notice that your inventory fills up very, very quickly. And if you go ahead and buy yourselves a backpack, which you can buy from the market villager, for $1,024. It will upgrade your space by 2. And you can actually end up upgrading your backpack as well as you progress through the game. I have not yet got to doing that, but as you can see, you have the copper backpack, the iron, the gold, the diamond, and the iridium, and it all expands the space by quite a lot. So I definitely recommend doing that. Going back to the money thing, I had shipped some items, and after you ship the items the next day, this is what will appear in your shipping bin. It's some coins, and if you go ahead and just take it to your bank, it will transfer over to your account. Perfect and easy. Now, once you do everything in this first line of getting started, it will actually unlock the option to construct a farmhouse. All you need is 64 cobblestone and 10 firewood, which is pretty easy to obtain. You can get fire log from chopping down trees and cobblestone from mining. It will give you a blueprint of a house, and you have all these amazing options to choose from. You can either build your own house or use the blueprint. I know some people on this server use the blueprint. I personally ended up building my own house, but depending on how storage and stuff works, I might end up using the blueprint in the future. It's all up to you. But once you finish up with the getting started, you will get to farming. We already briefly went over this with the sprinklers and the watering can and all that kind of stuff. The next thing I want to talk about is preserves, because this is an amazing way to make some money. So as you can see, I currently have some preserves. They are processing pumpkin, and it basically doubles and or triples the amount of money of an item. It does take 3 days though, which is honestly fine because the days fly by very fast. And then once you get them, you can go ahead and ship them in this bin. But making preserves is pretty easy. You just need fire log, coal, and a barrel, and then you're able to craft one. And then you have all of these preserves that you can sell. So if you go ahead and hover over it, it'll tell you how much each sells for. It looks like broccoli sells for 1,000 each, which is honestly crazy. Zucchini too, turnip. So depending on which ones you sell, you can get lots and lots of money. This is a great way for making money, especially early game. So I highly suggest that if you guys are starting out, you do some mining and get lots of copper and lots of coal, as it is very, very important in this game. And while we were on the topic of copper and coal, let's talk about geodes, which I'm sure you guys will run into at one point or another. So geodes are essentially things that you are able to crack open. You can do it by either getting the geobuster from the blacksmith, but this one can be a little pricey since you have to actually have a geobuster for the amount of geodes you have. So if I have 34 geodes, I need 34 geode busters. So in the long run, it's actually faster to buy the extractor, which is what I did. So if you just place your item there, it will extract all of it for you. And it sometimes has really good items. As you guys can tell, it gave me lots and lots of stuff. So sometimes you might get stuck with something really trashy, like the tin cans. But there are also some really cool stuff you can get as well, which can be super useful. You can, of course, sell them as well, although some of them you will need for later games, so I wouldn't recommend selling all of them. But that is one way to get a lot of more rare type of stuff. And then going back to the preserves, since they are ready, this is what they will look like when they are done. They'll have a little exclamation mark over them. And I'll actually show you guys how you can replant them once they're done. But you just click on it, and then you obtain the preserves. And then to put stuff in there, you just click it. And it should be 5 per each. So 5 of whatever item you're putting in. So we will get $2,184 from this, which is amazing. Now, I do want to talk about the skill tree. So the skill tree, as you progress through the game, you will get skill points. with your skill points, you are able to purchase these rewards like healing, stamina. So I actually already maxed out this one for husbandry, which is for taking care of animals. So I have unlocked all these abilities, which are amazing because some of them will make hunger go down slower. It will help you get more food, more money, and befriend the animals quicker. And then for each respective skill, you have the same type of system where you can progress. And it's actually very useful, especially the ones that give you more speed, because you will sooner or later realize that getting around places is very important. But while we're on the topic of husbandry, I'm going to get a little bit into how it works running a farm in this game. Alright, so there is quite a lot of things you can do with this husbandry. There is so much that I'm just going to briefly go into detail for you guys, as you can probably find a tutorial in its own on YouTube, or I can make one. But essentially, once you unlock the rancher villager, you also can unlock her blueprint. I placed it. But once you unlock the rancher villager, you can go ahead and talk to her, and she will sell you lots of stuff. You can actually buy animals for her, or you can go out and collect them yourself. I recommend collecting them yourself, as they can get pretty pricey. Most of these animals you should be able to find around your area. I would highly recommend, if you are going to buy, to not buy more than 2, because after that you can just breed them, which will save you a lot of money in the future. And in order to breed your animals, you will need the miracle potion, so that is very important. So working animals in this game, the first thing you're going to need is a feeding trough for them. You can purchase it for $4,000. This is where you're going to place all of their animal feed, which I will show you guys in a second what that looks like. For getting animal feed, you can purchase it for $16 a piece, which can be pretty expensive, or you can grow either wheat or barley and chop it up to make animal feed, which is way cheaper, and I would definitely recommend that one. But keeping your animals happy is a very important thing in this game. There are ways to do it faster. You can use candied animal feed, which will increase your friendship by 1 heart. You could also name them. One of the fastest ways to just build friendship is by milking and shearing and saying hi to them each day. So I'll go ahead and show you guys that now. Now, unfortunately, the blueprints for the farming house are pretty expensive. So if you go into the section where it says building shop, you're actually able to go ahead and look at the things that you can build. So if you wanted to build a barn, it's pretty expensive, as you can tell. So I would definitely recommend building your own, at least in the beginning. So saying hi to your animals every day is very important, as it will boost your friendship with them. As you can see, I have full hearts with all of my chickens, so they give me large eggs, which you are then able to place into the mayonnaise machine, and after a day it will turn into mayonnaise, which sells for quite a lot of profit. So it's a great way to make some money. You can also place these little chicken nests inside of the pen, and it will collect their eggs without you having to go in and do it manually, which is super useful. And then as for feeding troughs, you just go ahead and place the animal feed in here, and the animals will eat it on their own. If you want to progress your friendship faster, you could feed them by yourself. That's definitely another way to do it. But once you have maxed hearts, your animals will give you a lot better rewards. And then you are also able to get the shears eventually. Once you have 5 hearts with them, you can shear them, and it gives you food, which is super useful. And if you and depending on the animal, it will also give you special drops. Like from the ducks, it gave me feathers. So with this feature, you'll basically never run out of food, and you'll never have to farm your animals to get food, which is amazing. You can also sell the food too, which can make a decent profit. Now for cows, goats, sheep, and a few other animals, you actually are able to milk them. And I'll show you what you can actually do with this milk in just a second. First, I'm going to get to our pigs. So pigs, if they really like you, will give you truffles. And you can do a lot with truffles, to be honest. I'll go ahead and show you guys really quick. So truffles with this little machine can be turned into truffle oil, which sells for 1,000. And in order to make Now, in order to make an oil maker, you're going to need these ingredients, which jade can sometimes be harder to find. I got it from a mining trip to the Skull Caverns, which will be for another section, but essentially you can craft it and put your truffles in there and make some truffle oil. And then you also have the cheese press, which you can put your milk in there, and after 2 days, it will turn to cheese. And then you can sell it for a profit. Now, let's talk about, now sheep can also be pretty profitable too. Once you have 5 hearts with them, just petting them alone will give you wool, which can sell for a lot of money, like 1,000 just for these. Very, very crazy and very, very convenient. Now, for a lot of the things like the cheese press or the mayo maker, you're gonna need pine tar, and in order to get pine tar, you are going to need a tapper, which can be made with an earth crystal, fire log, a wooden bucket, and copper. All these items are pretty easy to obtain. You can just get an earth crystal just from mining. They're very easy to get. After that, you can place it on a pine tree. I think I actually placed it on an alpine tree. I think alpine works too, but pine or alpine, and then after 5 days, it will go ahead and pop up with this little green exclamation mark, and it will give you pine tar. Pine tar is pretty important in this game, so I recommend making a little place for your tappers. So that is pretty much the basics for raising animals and animal farming. It's fairly simple. Same with tapping and all of that. As you progress through the game, you will eventually unlock these little things where you can unlock pantries, greenhouses, all this cool stuff, and all you need to do is really just complete the bundles. There is one bundle that allows you to access the Skull Caverns, which is a very, very difficult version of the mines. With that, you can get lots and lots of really good materials that you'll need more later game. So I wouldn't really worry about that if you are starting out, but I did just want to make a note of that since a few of the things in my video were actually from the Skull Caverns. So yeah. But a lot of stuff you can really just get from regular mining, so I wouldn't worry too much about that until you are strong enough to face the Skull Caverns. But this is probably where I'm going to end the episode. But this is where I'm going to end the video. I hope this was able to help you guys a little bit. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys playing this mod pack very soon. So without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!